Classic Cult Cinema family, what's up? This is Mario B, your Wisconsin correspondent. I am coming back today to talk about the classic 2003 movie called Windy City Heat. This gem was directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. Yep, that Bobcat Goldthwait. IMDb synopsis: a man caught up in the glamour of being a Hollywood celebrity has no idea that the production he's in is fake. Yeah, this is a classic Joe Schmo kind of thing. Everybody but him is in on the joke. This is pretty much, when you talk about classic cult cinema, this is the standard here. Yeah, this is great. I had a great time watching this. Great movie. So I had some notes. Let's get into it. At the beginning, Perry's talking about his acting style, and he compares himself to a young Marlon Brando. Wait, never mind. He's a young Robert De Niro. Whatever. He's got that eye. He's got that half eye. He closes that half eye, you're fucked, buddy. Carson Daly is there when he gets to the audition, and he's talking, and Perry's like, Carson Daly needs to get his ass kicked. Yep, I agree. Dane Cook is in the movie. His character's name is Roman Polanski, which Perry doesn't seem to think that's weird or recognize. That was about as much Dane Cook as I can stand, so that was perfect, just the right amount. They're saying that all the classics have auditioned for the role of Stone Fury. He had Gandolfini, Liotta, and Tom Wopat. You know, got to get him. When he's doing the audition and Don and Mole keep busting into the room, did you get the part yet, Perry? That was great. The level of anxiety that Perry was going through, he kept getting more and more agitated. When they're in the office and they're talking to John Quincy Adams, another name that Perry doesn't recognize or think is weird, and he says, speaking of heavy, is my big fat greasy actor in the room? When he's talking to Susan B. Anthony, there's another one who's like the assistant, and Perry says that she should be in the movie as Jiggly because they can't find anyone. And he's like, she's a beautiful person. She's a lovely woman. I'd love to get into her panties. And the whole dumpster scene when they're filming, when Don and Mole throw Perry into the dumpster, that scene was great. And Bobcat's like, we need more trash. We need shit and poop. So they throw him in there, and it's like, it's got to be wet. It's got to be grosser. And Don tells him, you know you can get a stunt double, right? So Perry's like, yeah, give me a stunt double. They run into Adam Carolla, and he's filming Air Caligula. Great movie. The whole scene with Tom Kenny has a great cameo as the costume designer. He's in the trailer with Perry, and he's trying to get him to put on that outfit, and he keeps touching him, and Perry's like, if you touch me, I'll kill you. And he's like, I don't like fags. I'm not a fag. I'm homophobic. I hate fags. I'm like, all right, Perry. And then Tom Kenny's like, you're not Luke Perry? Oh, I thought you were Luke Perry. You're not in Oklahomos? And of course, Don and Mole come in and see him in the outfit. When he's about to film his sex scene with Jiggly, and Perry says, she might be the girl I take to the Academy Awards. Yep. And then, of course, because he wanted a stunt double, the sex scene is a stunt, so they have to bring another guy in to do it. And Perry's all mad, but he's got to go take a shit because he ate some cheese and he's lactose intolerant. And that whole scene where he's in the he's in the bathroom, he's trying to go, and Don keeps knocking on the door. Do you need help, Perry? What do you need? He's like, I'm taking a shit. And then the whole thing with his assistant, Burt Ward. There's another name that Perry doesn't recognize. He keeps bringing him food because he's supposed to bring him food. And he keeps thinking that Perry needs food while he's taking a shit. That whole scene was great. After the scene is over and they go back and Jiggly and the stunt guy come out, and then Mole comes out of the room and he says, oh, it was great. They did everything. They did stuff that they do on the worldwide internet. And then, of course, Perry, after finding out that, he wants to fire the stunt man, and he fashions himself as a young, looks like I'm another Jackie Chan. So got De Niro, Brando, and Jackie Chan. So, yep, he's got it all right there. The whole thing with Don being an asshole to Burt, Perry's assistant, keeps taking the food, and he keeps knocking shit out of his hand. And Don and Perry are getting into a fight about it. And they're sitting on set, and then Mole just looks in the camera and goes, definitely the Stars Eagles are starting to clash here on the set of Windy City Heat. For some reason, that made me laugh really hard. Just the way he's like so stupid, but then he has that moment of clarity when he looks into the camera. When Perry is talking to Bert, he's like, I don't want to fire you, but if you keep bringing me shit I don't need. And Bert's like, yeah, I can't hear. I've got this earpiece. What about the other ear? I had ear replacement surgery. I thought that was good. And then they're on set and the guys are playing basketball and like, oh, the cast from Schindler's List 2 are here. So then they had another name, Ansel Adams. So the names they use in this movie, Ansel Adams, Roman Polanski, John Quincy Adams, Susan B. Anthony, Burt Ward, and Hiroshima Nagasaki. Perry doesn't recognize any of those names or think that any of them are weird, which I thought was hilarious. The whole scene with the merchandising when they're going through and on the poster and Perry's all fat and then his action figure looks like shit. That was hilarious too. And the whole scene where he's drinking out of he has to drink all that shit in the blender and he's like, and the line is another day in paradise. He's like, another fucking day in paradise. He's like, don't they fucking, so he had to drink it again. Carson Daly's a fucking pussy. Yep, that's true. I wrote that down. They're talking to Yorgi and they're filming that last scene at the end with the green screen. He's like, oh, we're going to put the dinosaur. There's no dinosaurs in Chicago. And then Perry again, he's like, I like to compare myself to Steven Seagal. I have a Steven Seagal smoothness. Yep, De Niro, Brando, Chan, and Seagal. There you go. And Travis Bickle, the limo driver. That was hilarious. That whole scene when they're trying to get to the movie premiere, they got to be there at 7:30. And they keep stalling, and they lock him out on the balcony. And then when they're in the limo, and they have to pull over to get water, and they're wasting time, and it's like 8 o'clock, and then it's 8:30. And then when Travis finds out that that Perry is a producer who says he's an enthusiast for hundreds of bands, and Travis says, "Well, I have a band," and he gets in the back of the limo and he starts playing the music, and they're all yelling and singing, and just the look on Perry's face, and he just keeps getting agitated. And that whole scene was great. And when Travis tells him, I'm not going to sleep with you to get a record deal, and Perry's like, I don't sleep with guys. I'm not gay. And then it cuts to him saying, something happened when I first got to Hollywood. No big deal. There was this one guy. I let him blow me and I jerked him off, but nothing happened. And then at the end, after the premiere, and then they're on Jimmy Kimmel's show, and he's like, who was sitting next to me? Tammy Faye Baker. She looked great. She had a great rack. I would fuck that. Oh yeah, I had a great time watching this movie. It's classic. I'm surprised I found it on YouTube. A great copy. Full thing. Just there's been conflicting reports from Perry himself. In one instance, he'll say that I knew the whole time. I just went along with it because we were having such a good time. And then later he'll say, "Oh, I had no idea what was going on. I was duped the whole time." And I would like to believe that he didn't know. That he was in on I would like to believe that he did know and he was in on the joke, but the way he's presented in this movie, he just comes off as not very bright and kind of full of himself. So I also can see where he wouldn't understand what's going on and think that this is actually real. But yeah, this is a classic. I'm going 2 big toes on this one. This is it, man. This was great. So yeah, this is Mario B signing out for Classic Cult Cinema this week. We will be back later with a couple more classics. They're going to be classic. They'll be cult. They might be cinema. That could be questionable, but we will be back. Signing out, Mario B, #1.